Show us your tips as I put the wrong switcher down there. Beaver's back. Daggy's back. Group 1 racing in 2 states. How are you, my friend?
Very well, thanks, Adrian. How's life treating yourself?
Good, good. Just got to get used to this whole working caper, but serves you right for some shit tips the last few weeks.
Back into the real world of,
corporate
employment
life
in the workforce,
having
to get up and go to work. And but congrats on the new job, and you're doing marvellous things, I'm sure, with news.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll update on everyone at a later date once I know what I'm doing. So anyway, the show will soldier on, and we'll keep producing the weekend stuff and some pretty good. I don't remember what happened last week. We started well and got a bit out of Pivot City, and tough way to finish the card, but it feels like it's been that way for about a month now. But I like these 2 cards, Randwick and Flemington, and we've got Group 1 racing in 2 states, as I said. What have you made of these?
Yeah, I thought they were nice, interesting cards. Some quality races. Some of the bigger races, I thought they lacked a little bit of depth. I certainly think in a lot of races that there's limited chances on the surface, but we will soon see.
We'll kick off at Randwick, where the rail goes out to 3 metres, minimum rain around, despite what Allianz Stadium looked like last night. And obviously we don't know what this cyclone might do to any weather patterns, and thoughts, of course, to everyone up in Queensland about to go through it this weekend. But at the moment, looks like the worst of the rain might be late tomorrow, so the track should play good. We kick off with a midway over the mile, benchmark 72 as is tradition. And do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Happy to go first.
Yep.
I'm pretty keen here that pocketing can get us off to a good start in the first. Really liked the way it finished off last start. Sort of got back, didn't look to be doing a lot, and then once it got clear air in that last 100, really started to hit the line with a lot of gusto. And I think, if that race went a little 100 further, it might have been getting the chocolates. Gets 200 extra here. Can posse up nice from gate 3, and I think this is not as strong a race as the last race it was in. 2 starts back for Give, and form before that was pretty good.
I'm with you. I think they've thrown the kitchen sink at this, which maybe is concerned, but it's a 10-day backup from last week. It gets blinkers on and Tim Clark on. So, look, I don't think it's by any means immoral, but I think if you've been with it the last few, you've got to chip up again here, and I think it's going to be the hardest to beat. I really liked Rush Attack's win last fortnight, as you suggested it might. Sat 3 wide there, and map's even better now. I think it's the main danger and will be in the finish again. But absolute kitchen sink thrown at pocketing, which has it on top for me. Very interesting race next, the Fireball listed race, 1,100 metres for the 3-year-olds. And I am going to take a chance here that Perspiration is the best horse in this race. Again, don't want to steam in too big to it. No Trial is interesting. But first up last prep beat Gatsby's, who was the Spruik horse at the time, and beat it coming from last with all honours. It has form, if you go back through, it has form around Feroce, who's a Group 1 winner now, and some nice horses at the time, Snack Bar and co. And around a $5.50, $6 mark. It will have to come from last, so we'll get an idea of the pattern. But I'm going to go with it on top. The rest of the field, I thought the market was probably in the right order. No Shinobu. I just had a feeling there's not that much guts to its form. And Zaytung is solid enough. But we'll see what happens. I think I've always had a bit of an opinion of this horse. What are you thinking?
Yeah, similarly for me, I do have a bit of opinion of Perspiration. And I wouldn't definitely rule it out. It was sort of the horse I was scared of, but I'm going to go with the favourite, Yoshinobu. Just first up here, willing to, they were put out after finished well down the track in the Coolmore stud behind Switzerland. Prior to that, was well fancied. I think it might be just, going off the last trial, primed and ready to go first up here, where I think a horse like Perspiration might be looking for a little bit further and might work into its campaign. So just based off that, I'm going for the number 4, Yoshinobu. Yeah.
Yep, we're back. Welcome everyone to video as well, because I've now pressed record, but you'll have the audio up to this point. The third is the Riesling for the 2-year-old fillies. Next step on the way to the Golden Slipper. What are you doing in this one?
Yeah, this was a little bit of a tricky race here. I narrowed it down to two, and there is a few first starters that concerned about, but I'm going to forgive Bell Mercy, and have it on top.
Scoped with mucus first up as well. There was an issue.
Yeah, it looked like there was a bit of an issue. It was well backed. It was expected to run well. Just faded, and that there may be excuses for that. I'm tipping that it can improve, and I don't mind the $6.50 odds here. Really scared of Inkaruna from the Freedman stable. That was a very, very good win first up, and I think he can run well. But I think those two are the two that I've leaning towards.
I found a lot of Godolphin horses for the rest of this preview, and I'm not very comfortable about it because I don't quite know what's going on with that stable at the moment. I'm going to put Tempted on top, though. I tipped it in the Blue Diamond. I went back and watched the run, and it had no luck at all. Didn't get out till late. It was very strong through the line. Firehounds, James McDonald. We'll put it on top. Still will have a job. It still has to reel in this field, so track pattern's going to play a part in just how much I bet in this race. I want to mention Lady Pankhurst, the debutante down the bottom here. It's 20-1. It was a bit bigger last night. The last trial was absolutely magnificent. Jumped, led, and cruised around in a trial that included a couple of nice horses. So, like I said, it was 30s last night, but 20s now. I'm going to have something small on it, and definitely forgiving Bell Mercy for all the reasons you've covered off already. The boys' version is next, 1,200 metres, Todman Stakes. And another stable I'm not overly enthralled to be tipping, but I'm going with Gay here. I'm going with North England. The trials were beautiful. Beat Bell Mercy, beat Peloton in the latest. Trialled away from home twice. Comes back here, will lead. And from all reports, is their top slipper hope. And I think there's a bit of intention with Farnham, who Gay trained to get a decent horse heading into the slipper. So it's on top from the stablemate, who's a big price, far-sighted. It's 50-1 and did kick off at Canberra, but that was a big win, and it's another Farnham colt that might have ability there. Just worth it, one for your exotics. And all the Godolphin horses are live chances. Tentitrus might have the best form of all its years at the moment. But, yeah, I think this is a top colt at the top here. Beaver.
Yeah, very hard to beat, but I'm going for the favourite, Wodeton. I think its first up win was very good, big wraps on it. I think there's plenty of excuses the last start. It's just got way too far out of the ground, wide, had to do all the chasing. And I think now the 1,200's perfect, gets the right draw, primed to win here. It's do or die, I think. And I've got it on top for that reason. Main danger, number 3, Tycoon Star.
Absolutely.
Third up here, comes to Sydney, finish off beautifully in both those starts, but really like the way it hit the line in the latest run around the $10 mark. Certainly wouldn't let that get under your guard.
The Aspiration Quality is next, over a mile for the fillies and mares. Track pattern's going to determine what I do if they're swooping on or whether their leaders are the place to be will depend which way I go, because I think there's only 2.5 hopes. They are Mare of Mount Buller, It's a Knockout, and Be Real, probably the value play. And if swoopers are on, I'm going to back Mare of Mount Buller off the nice resumption. If On Pace is on, I'll stick with It's a Knockout, who, again, nice enough resumption, have to cover a little bit of ground. Not much else this race. Not much else. I couldn't possibly entertain anyone, but I think Be Real is over the odds and has trialled okay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I think you're right around Mare of Mount Buller. It's certainly the one you're looking to finish it off, but I'm going Hinged.
Okay.
I know you're probably going to shit can me for it, but it's just been racing in much better company than these. I know first up wasn't great, but it was only 4 lengths off them in a Group 2. And if you go back prior to that, I mean, it was race. It finished a nose behind Buckaroo, carrying 57, so only a little bit up in weight. But that is a much easier race than this. I'm expecting it to be fitter after its first up run, and I think about $4 is pretty good value in this field. Gets a service of J-Mac and has the 61 kilos because it is clearly the best horse in this race. If it carries that, it'll be in the finish.
Fair enough. I'll move on. The 6th is the... it actually did go out the win last prep, so it's not been that long between drinks. The 1,000-metre Group 2 Challenge Stakes is up next with, I guess, the top sprinters down in Melbourne. Can't say it's a vintage race by any means. Who's going to win it, though?
Yeah, pretty keen on IME here. I'm willing to forgive last start. Prior to, last prep, it was pretty good. I think gets the gun run here from gate 2. If it doesn't lead, it'll just sit behind them. And that's going to make it super hard to beat here. Clear on top for me. Not a lot of depth to this race, to be honest, as well. Keen to see how a horse like Uncommon James returns. Can't back it, but keen to watch and see how it goes. If it was at its best, probably have it on top here. And a horse like Kamuchi finished off nicely last campaign, but sort of was hard to catch prior to that.
I'm forgiving. I tipped, as you know, I tipped IME going into the Oakley Plate. And at first glance, I was a bit disappointed, but when you go back and watch the replay, it had no luck at all. You could probably tack on a couple of lengths to that run, and that puts it in the finish here. 2 hopes for me. That's one of them. I'm actually going to have something on Komochi. With such a shallow talent pool in everywhere now, it's a top horse. Did beat Another Will last time we saw it. That form looks all right now. And gets Nash, interestingly enough, here. 1,000 metres is my concern. Might just want to run. So, probably flashes home. But I think the other two, they're the only 2 horses I really entertained. The 7th kicks off the quaddie with the Group 1 at Randwick Guineas. 1,600 metres for the 3-year-olds. Broadsiding got the job done first up. Gets a great run here. J-Mac won't miss here. He'll just slip straight into the slipstream of the leader. Roll along, and I think the trifecta from the Hobartville will run the trifecta in this race. Broadsiding from Swift Falcon from Aliana. What else want to say? Nice horse, a little bit of rain around helps. It's any case it has. So on top, easy to like. Beaver?
Yeah, not much to add here. I've got Broadsiding on top. Good win first up. Sat just off the pace. Probably sat a little bit closer than I thought it would. But that was a nice win. Again, can possibly up wherever it wants here from gate 4, and it shall be winning this.
How many winners is that for J-Mac now? 4? Halfway through the card. Yeah, well, we've got the Group 1 Canterbury up next, 1,300 metres. Very interesting race where J-Mac might make it 5. Who have you found, though?
Yes, could well do. I did like Switzerland last start. I was probably a little bit disappointed last start with that run. It was posied up, but maybe, I don't know, around the bend might suit it more here, 1,300 maybe. I was tossing up between 2. I'm going to settle on number 9, Sunshine in Paris. The barrier was my only concern, but geez, it flies first up. 4 first up runs, 3 wins and a placing. That's great form for this. Good track. Never been out of the placing on a good track. Look, I think it can run well if it gets the right draw, the right run from the draw. It's going to be certainly hard to beat. Magic Time was outstanding first up. Didn't get a run too late. When it did, it burst through and hit the line with a lot of gusto. It's a good horse. Will be hard to beat. And Chow Wolf, got to just be careful there. Gate 1 probably doesn't suit. Probably gets back and flashes home, and these might be just a little bit too nippy for it. But keen to see how it runs. But Sunshine in Paris on top for me. I think this suits.
It is a cracking race. I think there's 8 or 9 Group 1 winners in it. I have gone with Switzerland on top against my better judgment, perhaps. I don't always want to take these sort of horses on, but I'm forgiving that straight run a little bit. Got a little bit lost, got bumped around in colts sometimes when that happens. Can spit the dummy somewhat. Comes back to Randwick where it's unbeaten, gets J-Mac. Probably a bit short, but I think I'm going to put it on top. Scared of Sunshine in Paris. Scared of a couple of others, but I'm going to make the danger here to shock. And it may be a length below the absolute A graders here, but gets the lead for Nash. Comes off a Group 1 win in New Zealand. I think it's won 5 of its last 6. And just has a setup where all of these are first up or second up, and maybe the fit and firing horse that can run into a place. But cracking race. I'll be going wide in the quaddie when I get there. Looking forward to seeing it. Less exciting is the Tokyo City Randwick City Stakes over 2,000 metres, a listed race. And I'm just going to stick with the obvious in our anchorage. It keeps putting wins together. The big effort last time out, had to sit outside lead and still managed to fight everyone off. comes back, stable still going well, and it's on top. I'm following the lead of James McDonald with Asterix. It's gone on to the Waller Chance, which is third up, so I'm guessing it's ready to go. We'll make it the danger. And I'm scared of Alcasance resuming, but I just have the feel, one, the stable I want to see something from first, but two, has to lead, and it's always hard to do first up in a race. It's going to have a little bit of pressure. So sticking with the winner from, but I'm a bit spooked by this Waller runner as the danger. Beaver?
Yeah, I'm going for Alka. I'm going for Alcasance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be super hard to beat. You're right, first up. But it is one of those European stayers. I think Gate One's perfect, does jump to the front, has a good front-running jockey on top in Tim Clark. And for that reason, I think it's going to be one of the hardest to get past. So I got it on top. Our anchorage, as you said, was very good last start and plugged away and kept digging. That may have taken a little bit out of it. So just going the fresher horse on scene here, and I expect those two probably to be the likely horses to fight it out.
We're going to wrap up with the Wenona Girl Quality, a Group 3, 1,200 metres. An interesting race, and when you dig into this, but who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to go for the number 10, Clear Thinking, third up here. Both runs, first up was outstanding. Didn't lose any admirers. Second up, finished off quite nicely. Only just beaten by Inhibitions. Again, I think that was over the 1,200 metres. Sticks there. Gate 9's okay, and I think it can be super hard to beat. I was a little bit disappointed with She's an A-lister last start. Thought it had every chance.
I think some of these are better than it now.
Yeah, I think sometimes first up it's good, and then so I'm a little bit, I'm not quite that sure about it. But this has got a fair bit of depth to it, this race. You know, there's some horses down the bottom, even Junquera, Lekvardi, that are 60s. They're not without a chance. Anything can win this, but I'm just going for the up-and-comer. I think it might be able to get over the top of them.
I'm going with a couple that are going to get the right map, and that's, first of all, I'm going to put Outback Miss on top. I know it's coming out of Canterbury and Warwick Farm lead-ups, but it smashed those two fields. It's better than that. It had better form down in Melbourne. A lovely style of a horse, and just maps right on behind those leaders. I'm going to put it on top, and I think Confess Our Dreams has trialled really well, as it tends to do, and just maps really well to be stalking and be in the finish here, and it's double figures. It's going to go with those two. I'll back both. I'm scared of Clear Thinking because that Massara stable might have found a nice horse, and as you said, there's 8 chances here, but I went off a map bet here. I am going to go wide in the quaddie when we get there, though. First leg, which is just N1 Broadsiding, and throw in Swift Falcon, number 2. Second leg, 2 here to shock. 4 militarised. Can he do a medal bender and resume fresh there? Where do we go next? Down the bottom, 9 Sunshine in Paris, 10 Magic Time, 11 Steffi, and 12 Switzerland. Third leg, 4 Asterix, 9 Our Anchorage, 14 Kinesiology, and 17 Alcasance. And let's come home with 2 Arctic Glamour, 4 Commemorative, 9 Springley, 10 Clear Thinking, 12 Confess Our Dreams, 13 Outback Miss. $100 gets you about 35%. Obviously, if you want to go one out broadsiding, you get double that. So you've got the option there, because it is my best of the day. Race 7, number 1 broadsiding, and my value in the last race, 10, number 12, Confess Our Dreams. What have you come up with, Beaver?
Yeah, my best bet is race 4, number 5, Wodeton. I think it can be hard to beat. My value comes up in race 8, number 9, Sunshine in Paris.
Very good. For chelseatips.net, we're going to head to Flemington next. Don't forget you can jump on chelseatips.net and pull up the written form of our tips if you want to catch them on the fly. They'll be up there. I've already put up the page, Beaver. You just need to slock in,
I'm all over it.
knock in yours as you go. Flemington is up next. Beautiful weather, beautiful track, rail, 5 metres. All systems go for All-Star Mile Day. And we kick off with an 1,100 metre 3-year-old race, which is a little bit tricky, but I'm a bit of a sucker for race 1, number 1. I'm going to put Let's Face the Music on top. It came back off a nice trial with a nice kill at Kilmore. Comes here, maps well. It's on top from Mystic Rain, who showed some pace and gets on pace favours as they will wobble up the straight, but a few progressive types here. There'll be nothing crazy for me to start the day. What are you doing, Beaver?
Yeah, a bit the same as you. I'm going to go for number 5, Mystic Rain, however. I think it might wobble the fastest up the straight here. Big stable's going pretty good, and it's 2 from 2, so around $5, I think it make 3 for 3.
1,000-metre 2-year-old fillies race is up next. The Ottawa Stakes. Who have you come up with?
Yeah, another race that wasn't easy to get a guide on here. I landed on number 7, Military Tycoon. Had a couple of recent trials. The latest was pretty impressive. Put a bit of a gap in them there. Only had the one start at Flemington in a Group 3. Was reasonably fancied in the market there and finished behind Tycoon Star. Then they put it straight back out. Had a couple of that trial since. I think he can run really well. So got it on top in what looks to be a reasonably open race.
It is a reasonably open race, and looking forward to learning some more. I'm going to go with the Godolphin horse, Secret Glory, who we both liked, I think from memory, going to the Max Lees Classic at Scone, the group race up there. We got back and came home, but since it's gone down to Melbourne and jumped out very sharply, I think can be close to the pace and around the $8, $9 mark. It's on top for me. Enchanted By comes down for Gay and leads, so that's going to be a tick. Will make it the main danger. Pure Passion over the odds, well-bred horse who just had a bit of a chase on first up. I think it can improve at 20-1. The third is the Benchmark 84, the Varley Mike Munro race. I was remiss of me last week not to pass on my condolences to friends and family there who, for the loss of Mike, sad news when that came out last week. That said, who's winning this race, Beaver?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go for the winning form is good form, last preparation from My Temptation. It's resuming here. I suspect it'll be ready to go. Looks to have more upside than most of these. I think, won its trial at Cranbourne fairly comfortably there. I think it's ready to go first up, and I've got it on top.
I've got Don't Hope Do on top, only because of the price. I thought it should have been closer to winning last time out and gets a nice map here around the $8 mark. I think it's an each-way play. Obviously, My Temptation just looks maybe an easy option and usually one that I'll just steam into. It's never been beaten in at the races or the trials and from the right stable for that sort of horse. So very scared of it. May even cover it if the market lets me. Shaftesbury Avenue Handicap is up next, race 4, 1,400 metres. And I got a little bit confused here because there's a couple I like, but I'm going to forgive Fancify last time out where it had to lead up into the storm there. And the rider just said didn't appreciate it at all. I think back to clear air, firm track, and its own running, it will be back in the finish. So it's on top. Ended up coming around and being quite scared of Territory Express. It's a horse that has run some very good races in better races and gets a nice draw. Can have issues finding a map position or missing the start, but after I did the race, I just came back and almost wanted to make it top pick. I think that Sydney form is probably better than some of this, so I am very, very scared, and obviously IME's a dangerous horse too. What are you thinking?
Interesting race. I like what you had to say there. I'm going to go for Ayrton.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I do think it's probably could have been seen as the best horse in this race. Over its career, has been racing behind horses like Pride of Jenny, and it flies first up is really one of the reasons I'm going for it. 7 times it's been first up, 1 5. For me in this field, I think that's a really good pointer. So I've got it on top. I thought the odds were pretty good. I like what you said about Fancify. I think you can. It's third up. You can forgive last start. It will lead. And if it can jiggy jog, it's going to be hard to catch. It will depend on where Ayrton can get in the run. It won't be able to give it too much start. And you're right with Territory Express. Trialled very nicely. That was a good trial by Territory Express. Behind Pride of Jenny, sort of finished off quite nicely there. Just not so sure about the trainer. I think if it had a better trainer, it might be a better horse. But that's a little bit of a concern. It'll want to be good, but not without a chance.
Size Produce Stakes is next, a 1400 metre Group 2 for the 2-year-old starting to get out in distance. Who have you come up with?
Yeah, I'm sticking here with the 1 start, 1 win Vinrock. That was a great first up win. Has the win on the board. Probably about as skinny as you want it to be, around the 2-1 mark, but I think it's maybe have a little bit on these.
There's one here at a price that I don't mind, and this is a Cora who heading out in distance. I think it's going to suit it. Sat outside lead in a lead-up race which feeds into this, and was quite strong, just fighting on at the end there. A nice big strong looking boy. I think Dry Track's going to suit. It's $15, so I'm going to have a stab at it each way. From Brave Design, who chased Shining Style in Tentris last time out. I think it will also enjoy the extra distance. So 2 for me. Scared of Vinrock getting its own way and leading this. It does look an impressive type as well. The Australia Cup Prelude, 2,000 metres, is up next. I spent 5 minutes on this race because I hate all of these horses. So I went for the 2 that I hate the least, and that is Middle Earth. I'm going to back it, debuting in Australia. Trial was actually quite good. And I'll save on Duke de Sessa, who resumed with a nice win. That was the amount of work I did on this because, as I said, I'm sick of them all.
Well, I'm the same as you. I'm sick of them all, and I went for Middle Earth as well, purely because I don't know much about it, but it was the European import and in the Mars stable with Zara on board. So I thought it might beat these. But yeah, that was about it.
Exactly. What else do you want us to say? The mile is up next, the All-Star Mile. It's a Group 1 now, $2.5 million. At first, I looked when you first see the field and go, oh, what a shit field. But it's actually a very, very interesting field when you dig into it. Only 7 runners is disappointing, though. Who's going to win is the biggest question.
Yeah, it is a bit disappointing, the numbers in the field, but I'm going to stick with Another Will. It's one of my faves. Tipped it first up, sat behind Brightside, beat him. Don't know if it gets the same run here. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. I think
I can only see Rise at Dawn leading, and then that's it, really. Brightside camps on it, yeah.
Does it get in behind it, or does Brightside have to sit outside it? Not so sure. How's it going to camp, or does Another Will sit behind it? Because we know that sort of Tom Kitten, the Tissue, and Light Infantry Man will probably go out the back. So I'm just not quite sure how that's going to pan out. But I'm going to go Another Will, purely because first up, got him. Brightside did improve and run well last start. Obviously can't rule it out. Just taking a little bit better price and the horse that I like a little bit more.
And Mr. Brightside doesn't tend to improve deeper into the prep either.
No.
A very good horse, but there's more improvement in these other 2 horses, and that's what I've gone with Another Will on top as well. For most of the reasons you've said, I think Gate 1, he has no choice but to take up she has no choice but to take up a spot. So it's on top. Tom Kitten might be fresh only, but to be honest, probably should have won fresh when I was on it. Make it the danger. And, yeah, Mr. Brightside obviously has to run well. The other 2 are scary. Like, the Waller runners might be scary, but they probably want to race with more pressure and bigger fields. So the obvious does look, playing with a straight bat, Another Will on top from Tom Kitten. Another straight bat comes up in the Kewney Stakes, which is next over the mile for the 3-year-old fillies. It is a Group 2. But a top horse here in Treasurethe Moment resumed with a top win. That was fairly arrogant in the end. And I don't think anyone...
And who tipped it? Thank you.
You did tip it. Well done.
Yep. Pleasure's good horse.
Nothing out of that race is going to beat it. So I'm just going to have it on top, and I might have a small trifecta with 2 with different forms. Captured by Love had to cover a bit of ground last time out, gets a suck run, and Another Prophet now gets to a mile grand final. More from a point of view of just having a cheeky trifecta than anything else, but this is one of the better... Probably the best filly going around at the moment. Treasurethe Moment. Anything to add?
No, the further they go, the better this will go. So, clearly on top for me. It'll just be winning.
We've got a very good rendition of the Group 1 Newmarket Handicap up the straight, 1,200 metres. And an interesting field because, I don't know, part of me just thinks that lead-up might be no good with the Skybird win, even though I did have it on top. What are you doing, though? Who are you looking for here?
Well, I kind of thought the same as you with that. I just couldn't quite get my head around that race and how it panned out. against my better judgment, I'm going to stick with Jolie Star. I tipped it first up. It was a good run, but
It went like a slug.
yeah, I thought it was okay. It did go a little bit sluggish, but I just don't want to jump off yet. I just don't want to jump off yet in this race. And I kind of went looking for something else, and I went, what else can I tip? And there was lots of things I could tip, but I kind of just come back and said, don't jump off because I'll be kicking myself if I jump off and it wins. The only other horse that really did sort of come to me was Ray Maginario.
Yeah.
I did tip it last start, finished third. Jimmy Starr just had the idea of running the Oakley and absolutely launched down the middle of the track. Ray was probably the sitting shot there for those, but I liked the run. It was very good, and third up here, I expect it to run well. It's always around the mark, so it'll finish there or thereabouts. So Jolie Star on top, but Ray Maginario as the danger for sure.
I'm backing 2, maybe 3 horses. First is Mahaba, had to sit outside lead first up in the Ray Magnario race. Yeah, second up, last prep one, it beat it up the straight. It's $17. If gate 1's not an issue, I like its hopes here. And Ostraka worked through its gears quite nicely in the Oakley Plate. 1,200 metres suits a lot better. Again, it's 20-1. They're more in a race I don't feel comfortable with. I'd rather just have some bits and pieces bets out wide, and I will cover them both with Ray Magnario, who's could be the most honest horse in Australia. It will be putting its head out close to the line and somewhere in that finish. Interesting race because there's some value to be had taking on some of these favourites. The last is the Matron Stakes here, another interesting race here. For the girls, 1,600 metres, and all these just get in bunches and go around with each other. So I'm going for the winning mare, and that's Smoking Princess. It can take up a position where it's ever happy. It's been back in the field and won. It's gone forward and won. It's here to be in the finish again, and unfortunately the Payne family lost one of the sisters during the week, so that's always there always seems to be good things happen when something like that happens on the racetrack. So it's on top. Not much to add, I'm splitting hairs between everything else. Anything caught your eye?
I've gone for Molly Bloom.
Okay.
I thought the first up run was pretty good. It was a nice second here. It wasn't a race that, as you say, I was overly got excited about. So I had it on top. Thought it could run really, really well. But yeah, not a race. I was probably hoping. I hope I'm well in front by here and can just have something small somewhere.
Yeah, you got a quaddie for us?
Absolutely got a quaddie for us, mates. Where would I be if I didn't have one?
Exactly.
Starting off in the first leg, I'm going race 7, number 1, Mr. Brightside, and number 4, Another Will. In the second leg, race 8 is Treasure the Moment. I'm standing it 1 out and backing a few in the last 2 legs. In the third leg, I'm going number 1, Benedetta. Number 4, Buenos Noches. Number 5, Jolie Star. Number 6, Ray. And number 7, Growing Empire. And to finish off in the last race, I'm going 1, Molly Bloom. 4, Miraville Rose. 5, Wishlaw Lass. 7, Smoking Princess. And 8, So Glamorous.
Very good. Your best in value.
Yep, my best bet comes up in race 5, number 3, Vinrock. Just a bit better value than Treasure the Moment, which will also be winning. And my value bet comes up in race 4, number 1, Ayrton.
My best is race 8, number 1, Treasure the Moment. And my value, race 9, number 2, Mahaba. Anything else from around Australia? Obviously, we're not going to get much racing up north.
Nothing up north. Good luck to our north counterparts up in Brizzy and northern New South Wales. Hopefully, fingers crossed that there's not too much damage over the weekend, but nothing from me elsewhere.
Absolutely. All the best to everyone up there. We'll be back next week to do this all again. Thank you, Beaver.
No worries, mate.
And we'll talk to everyone next week. Bye.